What's the absolute best thing you can eat on the Carnival Firenze? I spent $382.22 eating everything from the free spots to every single specialty restaurant, just to rank them from S to D tier. And trust me, some of these rankings will shock you. My name is Ruben, and I am not a cruise or food expert, but I did eat a ton of food with 2 breakfasts, 3 lunches, and 5 dinners some days. All for you. Speaking of all of these meals, there are 19 different restaurants and 31 total offerings on board the Firenze. On my latest 4-day cruise, I tried to eat at every single one of them. For you. One night, I even ate 5 times. Do you think I got to all 31? Stay to the end to find out. Oh, and yes, there are hidden ducks in this video. Spot them all, drop the timestamp in the comments, and you might even get a shout out like Chris with a C or Ohio Travels with Chris with a K. Now, let's eat our way through the ship. The Carnival Firenze has a great mix of included and specialty dining. Some of them are Italian themed, of course, while others are classic Carnival favorites. Here is every single restaurant we will be ranking in the order that I ate them. Remember, some restaurants have multiple options and I will be ranking all 31 of them. Tomodoro, La Strada, Java Blue, Il Viaggio, Pizzeria del Capitano, Chicken Shack, Chef's Table, The Buffet, El Mercato, Guy's Burger, Swirls, Seafood Shack, Bonsai Sushi, Empanadas, Room Service, Fresh Creations, Bonsai Teppanyaki, the main dining restaurant or MDR, and Fahrenheit 555 Steakhouse. Here are my 5 rating tiers. S, the best of the best. Highly recommend. Do what you can to try this at least once. A is for awesome and amazing. You need to try it out just for yourself to find out. B, pretty good, but not quite earth-shattering. If it does not sound appealing to you, then skip it. C is meh. Nothing to write home about. You will not kick yourself if you skip it. D, for definitely skip. This was horrible. Now let's rank them from to yes, please. Tomodoro Lunch. This is a free restaurant. Right after the muster drill, the first place I went to was Tomodoro to check out this Mexican-Italian fusion for lunch. I got a burrito and gave it a C. I didn't finish the whole thing, but stay tuned for later where we will find out if their breakfast is any better. La Strada. For my second lunch, I head down to La Strada because they are only open on embarkation and sea days for lunch. They had some steak, barbecue pork, and some other stuff. They get a solid B. Java Blue. Not wanting my energy to fade, I decided to grab some coffee and ended up getting a Java chip smoothie, which was definitely a good choice. Solid B for this as well. But on an earlier trip, I had the gelato, which was so good that it pushes the average up to an A for sure. Il Viaggio. This is a specialty restaurant where you do have to pay extra for. That night for dinner, I had my first specialty dining on board. The service was amazing. Shout out to Saka and Enrique. I got my free glass of wine because this was embarkation day. The bread was incredible. For appetizer, I had the panzerotti, which was okay and not my favorite. For my main entree, I had this giant pork chop, which was delicious. Dessert was tiramisu, which was super fancy and tasted just as good as it looked. I got a free shot after that and wrapped things up. For a total cost of $42, this was totally worth it and goes into the A tier. Shout out to these amazing ladies who let me join their ladies' night dinner and their cruise. Have you been to El Viaggio? Let me know in the comments below. Pizzeria del Capitano. Having had 4 meals already today, I wasn't sure I can handle more, but I pushed myself to try some of the famous thin sliced pizza that so many of you love. If you grade it on a drunk curve, then it gets an A at midnight. But if you have it at any other time, I give it a solid B. Now, off to bed. That was a pretty packed day of eating, but still a lot to go. Do you think I will be able to eat at all 31 places? Tomodoro Breakfast. For my first breakfast, I came back to Tomodoro to see if they could redeem themselves with a breakfast burrito. Nope, also a C. Chicken Shack. This first day on Catalina Island, I hiked up to this hidden lookout point. Check out this video if you want in on this secret gem. After working up an appetite, for lunch, I tried out Chicken Shack, which seems eerily similar to Shack's Big Chicken, but wasn't quite the same. While the sandwich scored a pretty solid B, these flat fries were amazing. So overall, lunch gets bumped up to an A. Chef's Table. Chef's Table is pretty legendary for their food, and when I had it on the Radiance, it was amazing. So it had a lot to live up to. We started off with champagne, then 1, 2, 3, 4 appetizers that were all delicious. The combination of flavors were things I had never tasted before. We got a tour of the galley, and one of the chefs showed us how to make the famous chocolate melting cake. Back at our tables, we kicked off more food with this crunchy and soft bread that had this amazing honey butter. Then 2 more appetizers before 3 main courses, with the best being this braised wagyu. Dessert was this chocolate forest sphere, and it was incredibly delicious. You could eat everything. Despite every course being tiny, it ended up being a lot of food, and no one else finished everything. I did, though. All of the chef and the staff were so incredible. The price is pretty steep at $124 plus 18% gratuities, but this is an incredible experience. You definitely need to try if you like fine dining. Here, all the way. Let me know if you want a longer video showing my full experience at Chef Table and all of the different courses that we had. Midnight Buffet. Even though Chef's Table had me pretty stuffed, I wanted to check out the new Midnight Buffet. While the soup was surprisingly good at a B, everything else was pretty standard buffet or lower. But because this is the only thing open after midnight, this scores a C instead of a D. Midnight Pizza. Oh, and I'm going to try out the midnight pizza and separate it from the buffet separately because it has caused such a controversy. This pizza is different than the pizza you get at Pizzeria del Capitano. It is a thick crust Chicago style pizza, and while it is not as good as Pizzeria del Capitano, I thought it tasted better than I expected, and so it gets a B-. Let me know what you think in the comments. I know a lot of you have strong opinions about the midnight buffet and pizza. Oh man, that was a lot of eating. 10 places down, 21 to go. Only 2 days left. Do you think I could do it? Chicken Shack breakfast. For breakfast, I went to Chicken Shack. They have fresh made omelets and some other breakfast items, which I did not have time to try this time around. I did have the chicken biscuit with hot honey that gets a solid B. La Mercato. As I head into Ensenada for a great massage, let me know if you want me to make a video on some of the other things to do here at Ensenada. I built up quite the appetite and was ready for lunch at La Mercato. I tried the brout and of course, a Reuben sandwich, a solid B+. Guy's Burger. For my second lunch, I went downstairs to Guy's Burger. It was weird not having them my first day, but hey, I had a packed eating schedule to make this video happen for all of you. I had a plain Jane burger with cheese. Earlier, I grabbed a pretzel bun from La Mercato to make a pretzel burger. Unfortunately, they only had hot dog buns, but I still made it work because I love making this. I also got some honey mustard and garlic aioli sauce from La Mercato for my fries. Even though Guys is not quite the same as on Carnival ships with the whale tail, they still get an A- here. Swirl. For dessert after lunch, I headed over to the Lido buffet to grab some Swirls ice cream, and this is consistently a solid B. Seafood Shack. Even though it was less than 3 hours since I had my Guy's burger, my eating schedule had me eating at Seafood Shack for my first dinner. I opted for the crab cake, and it did not disappoint. The only reason this does not get an A is because not everyone loves seafood like I do, and it is an extra charge. Seafood Shack gets a solid B+ on paper, but an A- in my heart. Empanadas. Less than 2 hours after Seafood Shack, it was time for my second dinner at the empanada station. I asked them what the most popular item was, and it was the beef picadillo. It wasn't my favorite. Not that the quality was bad, it just wasn't quite for my taste buds. So even though it was not my favorite, they still get a B. Buffet dinner. For dinner number 3, I met up with some friends at the buffet to see if it was better than I expected. While the ribs were a decent B, overall they still get a C because the food is the same as the MDR, but there is much better quality and experience there. Buffet wings. Even though they are in the Lido buffet area, I consider wings separate because you do have to pay. Only $5 got me 6 of these garlic parmesan wings that are so delicious. These score an A tier, and you should definitely try them out if you like wings. Bonsai Sushi. We came down to sushi and I was surprisingly still hungry. I had some salmon sushi, which was a decent B. We also got a bang bang bonsai roll and tempura roll. The tempura roll was definitely better, and we ordered another one. This place is pretty decent and gets a B. Empanadas for dessert. As if I did not already just have 5 dinners and 2 lunches, I thought I would get dessert as well. The dessert empanadas looked pretty good, so I went back to try this Nutella empanada, and they were pretty good. They were really close to scoring an A, but it is not quite a must try, so they only get a B+. Okay, 3 days down and 20 out of 31 places that I've eaten at. But I only have 1 day left and 11 places to eat at. Do you think I'll finish them all? Room service breakfast. In the morning, I woke up early so I could have 2 breakfasts. I started off with room service to get the continental breakfast that is free. It's nothing to write home about, but it is free, and it is pretty nice to have breakfast or food delivered to you in bed. C#. C+. Sea Day Brunch. Now that I had my appetizer breakfast, it was time for my second real breakfast. Sea Day Brunch. If you do not know about Sea Day Brunch, this is a hidden gem. They have things like steak and eggs, 12-hour French toast, skillet cake, everything that is a few notches above your standard MDR breakfast, and they get a solid A-. Fresh creation. For lunch, I knew that I was going to have a ton of food later at Teppanyaki, so I wanted a little teaser for my first lunch. So I went to Fresh Creations up on the Serenity Lounge. You can put together your own salad, and after eating so much heavy and rich food, it can be nice to eat light for a change. The salad itself gets a solid B, but it is pretty disappointing that they are only open for sea days. Teppanyaki. My second lunch, and boy, what a lunch it was. Teppanyaki is an all-out experience. If you've ever been to a standard teppanyaki place, this is pretty much the same. We started off with these appetizers, which were an okay B. Same, the salad was still an average B. The show is so fun though, and the chef is awesome, and these waitresses were top notch. The rice was really good at an A, and the filet and lobster were also both solid A. For dessert, we got this dessert box with all kinds of interesting treats. Definitely an A here as well. So overall, Teppanyaki gets a solid A. Main dining restaurant, or MDR dinner. Despite Teppanyaki being a late lunch and tons of food, I'd still had to go to the MDR for dinner. The bread was an okay at a C. Shrimp appetizer was a B. The main entree was braised short rib, which was a solid B+. Overall, the MDR gets a B. Shoot, this was already the last day and I'm out of time. Despite my best efforts in cramming days with 3 lunches, 2 breakfasts, and 5 dinners, I was not able to eat at every option on this trip. However, I was able to eat at every restaurant if you include my last trip. So let's throw in some of the places I ate last time. MDR breakfast. Even though they are not anything to write home about, the MDR breakfast is still better than the buffet. You get a B-. MDR pasta bar. For lunch, you can come to the Medici restaurant for a pasta bar. You can build your own pasta, which is similar to Cucina del Capitano. They get a B- as well. Tea time. At the Michelangelo restaurant on the last sea day is tea time from 3 to 4 p.m. Tea time here was not as good as I've had on the Radiance, and I was pretty disappointed. They get a C. Dr. Seuss breakfast. The only option I was not able to actually eat for myself was the Dr. Seuss breakfast, but it does look like so much fun. Fahrenheit 555 Steakhouse. On my last sailing, I was able to try Fahrenheit, and I made a full video with my experience so you can watch it. The short version is the bread was incredibly amazing. The appetizers were awesome. The ribeye steak was incredible. And the dessert, well, it was so good, I would need a thesaurus just so I don't reuse words that I've already used. Fahrenheit gets an S tier, and I highly recommend coming here. So that is all 19 restaurants and 30 of the 31 eating options on the Carnival Firenze. Let me know which ones are your favorites, and then check out this ultimate playlist compilation on the Firenze.